I gotta pick all this up. One of the most annoying problems I see on Ford vehicles is one that gets overlooked a lot of the time. You forget about it until you have that flat tire in the middle of nowhere, and then you discover that your lug nuts are so swole that your lug wrench, or really any socket for that matter, will fit on them. You're kind of just stranded at that point. Well, stick with me because I want to show you how to permanently fix this problem. What's going on, YouTube? My name's Mason. I'm a senior master tech with Ford. And if you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back to the channel. Also, make sure that you tap that bell notification so that you can stay notified on when I'm putting up new content. Last but not least, if you enjoy the content today, make sure you go hit that like button for me. It really helps me out. Helps put my videos out there to other people so that YouTube will suggest my videos to other people. It just really helps out. So if you could just hit that like button for me, I would really appreciate it. Well, before I tell you guys how to permanently fix this lug nut problem, I want to show you why it happens in the first place and how you can prevent them swelling if maybe by chance yours aren't swole already. The difference between, this is the cap that the lug nut would sit in, and here's the lug nut with the cap on it. As you see, it just fits down over, clamps on with this little ring. But this part right here is like aluminum. I can almost push it in with my hands if I was had about another 30 pounds on me. So that's what they look like there. So I've got hundreds of these lug nut sockets, and what I really wanted to show you guys is that it's really a two-piece design. As you can see, I can actually stick my fingernail outside here around the second little cap that actually goes over the lug nut. So what happens is this cap right here gets beat up, and when it gets beat up, it gets swole out to the point where you can't fit a normal size socket on it. So this lug nut is actually supposed to be a 21 millimeter socket. It's supposed to fit on it, but I'll show you what happens whenever you try to put a 21 on it. What happens is the socket won't actually fit onto the lug nut, and the reason it won't is because it's so swole. Why does it swell? Well, other than just getting beat up, the main problem that makes these lug nuts swell is really it's bad sockets. It's cheap Pittsburgh or other brand sockets that have been used 1,000 times, and the inside of the socket is beat out to the point where it fits on most 21s perfect, or you think it's perfect. But really it's too big. It's beat out, it doesn't fit right, and what happens is it ends up just beating the outer core of this lug nut up. So by the time you got 150,000 miles on it, your tires have been rotated or taken off a lot of times. So this lug nut just gets beat up so bad that the only thing you can do is replace it. So one thing I did want to tell you guys about, and it's kind of silly. I'm gonna tell you about them and tell you where you can buy them, but I don't actually own any of them. And the reason I don't own any of them is because I keep really good sockets. I regularly change out my sockets, and I buy name brand sockets. That way, Snap-on or Matco or Mac or something like that I can get warrantied out anytime something happens to the inside of the socket. That's why I don't have any of these half-size sockets. But what I want to talk about is half sizes. It's exactly that. So 19 and a half, 20 and a half, 21 and a half, 22 and a half. You can actually buy these sockets online, and all they are is a halfway point in between a 21 and a 22. And what'll happen is a lot of the time you can find one of those half sizes that will actually fit this lug nut, so it'll help you get it off. Even if it helps you get it off, I still wouldn't put these janky ones back on. And the reason I wouldn't put them back on is because they're just going to keep getting beat up more and more and more, eventually to the point where you just have to beat a socket on it with a hammer and then beat the lug nut out of the socket. It's one of the most aggravating things in the world. So enough about why and how it happens. How do I fix it? How do you permanently solve this problem? One simple, easy step. You go down in the description, you click on my link, and you go buy the one-piece lug nut socket. I said lug nut sockets. You go buy the one-piece lug nuts that they sell in the aftermarket world. And these one-piece lug nuts won't have the outer cap. It's one-piece design, and they don't ever swell. You will never have to change them again. And they're about 1/3 of the price. I think these lug nuts, the last time I looked, I think they're about $6 or $7 a piece. So you do the math. If you got 24 of them, I mean, you know, you're gonna spend $150 there after tax on lug nuts. Whereas these online, I think, are about 45 or 50 bucks. You can replace all 24 of them and they last forever. So that is how you permanently fix this problem. I'd say 4 out of every 5 vehicles I work on that are in the affected years, which is about 2010 up, they all have these janky lug nuts. I'd say about 4 out of every 5 vehicles have swollen enough lug nuts that I have to beat my sockets onto them with a hammer. It is so aggravating. So if you're one of the people that does your own service and you've been having a lot of trouble with your lug nuts lately, I would really recommend swapping them out with some of the one-piece design. So that pretty much gonna wrap this video up. Not super in depth, we're just talking about lug nuts, but I did want to talk about this because this is probably the #1 issue I see on Ford vehicles. Lug nuts, they're junk. And I say Ford vehicles, really this isn't just a Ford problem. This is a Dodge, GM, Toyota. They all are using these 2-piece lug nuts now. I don't know why, but I know they do not last. They do not hold up. So do yourself a favor, go buy some of the 1-piece lug nut design lug nuts and you won't have this issue anymore. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you go down there and hit that like button. It really helps this channel out. So I appreciate to any of you guys who go hit that like button for me. And that's it for this one. Peace out. See you guys in the next one.